So my electric bicycle has finally gone over 200 miles on solar power, and I think it's definitely time for an upgrade. So the previous system shown in the previous video was solar panels on my shed. Those solar panels charge lead acid batteries, and then I use those lead acid batteries to charge my lithium battery. Now I'm working with a system trying to charge the bike directly with solar panels. And here's what I have so far. So we have these two solar panels, which are 100 watt, 12 volts each, but actually about 18 to 20 volts. Put them together, you have about 40 volts at 200 watts. But unfortunately, it's not quite enough high voltage to directly charge the e-bike. So I'm going to need to figure out how to step this up by at least 10 volts. And here's what I've come up with. So I got myself one of those step-up transformers or boost converters off of Amazon. This costs about $17, and it goes anywhere from input of 10 volts to 60 volts up to 12 volts to 80 volts, I believe. And I believe it's rated for 150 watts, although it's best to have a fan on it. So I have this 48 volt fan that I got a long time ago at Halted Electronics back whenever I was trying to build my first e-bike charger. So we have the input coming directly from the solar panels on these wires. These just plug in fine like this. Well, this one's a bit stiff. That's kind of what you get with Chinese stuff. But this one at least works fine. There we go. So we have the nice cable coming along, which this cable is just two wires that, it's like the last of the wires that I had access to. And then right after I'm done making this, I found I had a bunch more, so that's how that always tends to go. But all you do with this is you put like a heavy rock on one end of the two wires, and then put the other one in a power drill and just spin it with a power drill, and they wrap around each other, so it's pretty nice. I probably should have done the same with this side too. I might do that later. But the LED on there is on, so then the output can go into the BMS, which will take care of charging. All we need to do is make sure that we provide it with enough voltage, and it'll take care of any complicated balance charging and whatnot. .2 amps will definitely overheat this thing, so we have that sitting there, red and black. And right now I just set the wires inside of here on the 48 volt side. So then that can cool that part. And then I'm going to adjust the maximum current that I can give. I'm going to go down to 1.5 amps just because I'm not sure how this will do. And unfortunately we have a cloud. I'm going to take it down to only giving 1.5 amps. Should be very good for now. And that's it. It's charging. So we can come back in a bit and see how it's doing with the thermal camera to make sure it's not overheating. And yeah, let's just let it sit for a little bit and do its thing. So it's been charging for about an hour now, and I think it's actually going pretty well. It doesn't look like it's actually too hot. That one chip seems to be a bit warm at about 50 degrees Celsius. But 50 degrees Celsius actually is not that bad, so this fan is actually working out pretty well. Pretty happy with that. I could maybe see about going to a higher current. Not really sure though if I trust it. It all looks pretty reasonable though. I'm going to turn up the current a little bit, maybe go to 2 amps. That'd probably be pretty good. Now we're at 2 amps. I would like to eventually get this to work at 3 amps, but that might be pushing it a bit. So now we should be putting about 100 watts of power into the battery pack, which is pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So that seems like it's working pretty well, although it's a bit overly complicated because I could just have a third solar panel and it should work fine then. So I'm most likely going to order a third solar panel so we have a nice 300 watts of power, and that should be about, I don't know, at least 5 amps that can go into the battery pack. So that's a pretty good amount. So with this setup, I should be able to fully charge the battery every single day as long as I have it connected and under the sun all day. Maybe a bit more, you know, like maybe get even more power from it. Not that it would go anywhere, but I mean, if I had a bigger battery, I could. Especially if I had 3 solar panels. I'm thinking I might be able to do something where I have, because I'm wanting to build a sidecar, and maybe I could do an experiment where I put the solar panels in the sidecar and then I can deploy them whenever I stop somewhere for a long time. That might be kind of interesting. Sorry, I kind of fell asleep. So it's actually been like 3 hours now. It's been long in the shade. And it's actually pulling power now because this fan, I had this hooked up backwards, so it uses that. You know, I always tend to do that for some reason. I consider that pretty much it because only charging at a few milliamps is just too small to really matter. So I'm really happy with that, and I'll see how I can upgrade it by, let's say, 500 miles. When I hit 500 solar miles driven, then I'll try to make another video of updating it in some way. Maybe by then I can have a nice housing for that and have it nicely set up. Not really sure. Either way, I'm going to spend the rest of the evening tinkering with this power inverter I just bought that I'm going to run some arcade machines off of in my storage unit. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little video, and thank you very much for watching. See ya!